Hey everybody, it's Annika. Today, as part of Marathon Society's Halloween sew-along, I'm going to attempt to make the Diamonds and Coal Ymir Skull Wallet out of vinyl. Okay, yeah, I haven't worked with vinyl in about 20 years since I made a friend's Goth Marie Antoinette bridesmaid dress. I broke 6 sewing machine needles doing it. Yeah. So I'm better known as a craft book author, a maker of weird hats, costumes, props for movies, and a sometimes oil painter. Yeah, vinyl. I'll give her a shot, because it ain't going to heaven. It's only going on YouTube. Okay, first things first. I chose this black and silver plaid for the wallet outer cover. It's a bit shiny, but I like it. I'm going to turn it on the diagonal. Here's some sparkly black vinyl for the eye and nose sockets. The other innards are going to be black vinyl in different textures, and I'll probably throw in some of the plaid vinyl for contrast. There's polka dot quilter's cotton for the inside of the coin pocket. What else? Oh yeah, 2 silver snaps, so the whole thing, snaps together. Ooh, magnetic. Some of this sticky, 2-sided sticky tape. And a big black zipper as well. Oh, shout out to Heartwood and Hind for the coolest little label. Isn't it neat? I'll find a place for it. Okay. I'm going to need a ruler, a pair of tweezers for cat hair and threads, scissors, one of these sewing gauge thingies. A seam ripper, of course, knowing me, and some leather sewing machine needles plus some regular hand sewing needles. Okay, there are lots and lots of pattern pieces for all of the fiddly bits on the wallet's insides, plus pattern pieces for the Decoville, like that little skull piece. Oh, I forgot to mention that. You're going to need some Decoville. It's a sort of interface or stabilizer to sandwich in between the 2 layers. Place the eye and nose over the backing so you can sew them together. The way to keep them in place for sewing is to use strips of that double-sided sticky tape to adhere the 2 pieces together. Yeah, you can kind of tell I'm not used to working with this stuff yet. Yeah, don't worry about the overlap right now. You can cut that away after you've stitched the nose and eye down. Okay, I'm using my trusty Singer featherweight with a nylon foot, so the vinyl doesn't stick too much. I find all of this fiddly and exacting, so for me, it's slow going. Just cut away the extra backing and trim it pretty close and as far away from the edges as possible. This will come into play later on. Now, to install the fabric coin pocket, you have to cut a slit in the fabric where the zipper is going to be. You're going to want to iron the flaps on the sides down so that there's room for the zipper, like that. Next, put some sticky tape around the cutout for the zipper on your wallet's backside so you can adhere the zipper and the fabric pocket to it before stitching everything together. Man, this stuff is so unforgiving. So stitch the top edge of the fabric pocket together without stitching any of the vinyl with it. You're going to have to do some folding to get the vinyl out of the way. And you're going to want to stitch the sides down as well. You're going to want to trim the fabric sides down pretty close to your stitching because you want to keep it pretty far away from the edges. Oh, looky there. The zippered pocket with some cat hair inside. Looking good. Now we're going to attack the inside pocket pieces. There are going to be two sections. One has a bunch of pockets for your credit cards, and the other is larger for whatever it is people use wallets for these days. You need to stitch the top edges of all these pieces so they don't stretch out later. You're supposed to stitch 1/8 of an inch from the top edge, but I'm not that clever or dexterous. I'm just doing the best I can. Next, the pockets for the credit cards need to be stitched together, so I laid them one on top of the other to be held in place with double-sided sticky tape. Ooh, I think I'll put that cool label here. I just need to stitch it down before doing anything else. Okay, now it's time for the sticky tape. Each layer needs to be about 3/8 of an inch lower than the one under it. I used the sewing gauge to measure that. Ooh, now the final layer with foolish mortals on it. I love that. The next step's to sew a line down the center of the pockets. I didn't have anything else to mark it with, so I used painter's tape as a guide. Man, this vinyl attracts cat fur like nobody's business. Okay. You don't need to stitch the larger pockets together at this point. Just adhere them together with the tape. Now it's time to place Decovil on the inside of the wallet's outer layer. I could have ironed it all together since Decovil is adhesive, but I wasn't sure how the heat would affect the vinyl. You know, it looks like one of the edges is a little too long, so I'm going to trim that down. And so I used a lot more sticky tape to stick the Decovil to the wallet's inside. So then I started installing the snaps. You have to cut through the vinyl and the Decovil to put slots in for the snaps. I use my metal ruler to smoosh the tabs down because my fingers aren't that strong. Looking pretty good all considering. Next I'll put the snaps on the inside part of the wallet. I just use the washers that come with the snaps to cut slits for the snap tabs. The installation's pretty straightforward for those. Slide those little washers over the tops of those tabs that are sticking out. Get on there. There you go. And again, I'm going to use my metal ruler to knock those tabs down. Oop, cat hair. I don't know if it makes a difference or not, but I put them in a different direction than the other snaps on the other side, just so there wouldn't be too much bulk. And speaking of a little bit of extra bulk that you might want to add in here to keep the vinyl stronger, is you might want to put a little bit of Decovil on top of each one of those, or maybe, something like duct tape would work. Okay, so we're getting into the final stretch here, and securing all of the layers together, including all of the fiddly bits on the inside. So take a look and see how the credit card wallet part is separated from the other two. Okay, all right, I gotta admit, I got too excited and I forgot to, videotape the top stitching here, but I think it came out pretty good. Okay, yeah, all right, there's some bits that are a little bit uneven, but, I think I might be able to trim that away. So, let's see, how does that look? That's looking pretty good, all considering, Yeah, I better make sure, though, that the credit card or a card fits in. That's a business card that I made for a web series that I'm producing called Bell Book and Candle. It's about these three witches who try to help the local cops solve crimes, but they screw everything up because their spell work is really bad. So most of the time they cause cold cases and they don't solve them. So we've got one more line to stitch down here, and that's so that the big pocket there will stay in place. And again, I use some painter's tape as a guide. But, I got too excited. I just have to start cutting out that skull bit because it's just too cool. I gotta see how that looks. Yeah, here we go. Well, it's a little bit more even-ish. Okay, vinyl line is in place, looking pretty good, all considering. Even a vinyl newbie like me can produce something fairly decent. Good enough to use as a prop for Bell Book and Candle. Hey, do yourself a favor and check out everyone else's projects on the Marathon Society Halloween Sew-Along. Their work is so much more finished than mine. So I got one final thought. Wouldn't the Ymir Skull pattern make incredibly cool pocket flaps for a pirate's jacket?